I believe that the most important aspect of the yogic practice, and that isn't just the asana practice, that's the entirety of the yogic tradition, is the goal of mind control. And when I say mind control, I think a lot of people probably jump to conclusions about what that means. But ultimately, it's all about being able to control the functions of your mind, which in this day and age largely means being able to relax your mind in stressful situations. We live in a society that really, really pushes stress and pushes people to the absolute limit. And frankly, I think at this point, we don't even realize how stressed we are. I think that we realize that if baseline's here, we're here, but actually we're at more like up here. I think that even those of us who believe that we're doing a good job with stress management still struggle with that. The fact that we have to manage the stress as opposed to kind of being able to incorporate natural stressors into our lives and build a certain degree of balance around that is a problem in and of itself. I think that we as a society tend to claim that healthy means physically fit, means active, means strong, means all these other things. And we don't really consider health to be being peaceful, being calm, being relaxed, having very low stress levels within your body. One does not equate to the other. And I think that as a society, not only do we live these lives of overwork and stressing our bodies with the food that we eat and the lifestyles that we live, but also those of us who do think we're healthy, we tend to still be overstressed, just in different ways. We have really lost respect for staying calm and staying peaceful and creating an internal sense of that. So it's not about living this insane life and then driving to your yoga practice so that you can have 1 hour of peace during the day. That is a great place to start, might I say. But ultimately, the goal is to live an entire life that is peaceful throughout most of it, and having so many little moments of peace built into your day that it's not like this wave and roller coaster of stress, no stress, stress, no stress, as much as it is kind of keeping everything in check to this nice little flow, so that you become so clear about how to release stress in your life that you can do it on an hourly basis instead of on a weekly basis or even a daily basis. And nothing ever really gets out of control. You can start to build in this deeper, more internal sense of peace where we're constantly in peace and occasionally being thrown out of it, as opposed to a lifestyle that just supports nothing but stress and occasional, releasing and relaxing. This should be easy, and this will eventually be easy, but I also, at the same time, really need to discuss the fact that while I say all these things, that is not easy. There is no assumption that you should be able to snap your fingers and suddenly be calm if you've never practiced it. Like I said, we live in a society now, in a culture that really pushes us with stress and stress factors, and we are surrounded by them day in and day out. So it's a little bit ridiculous, I think, to say that on your first time meditating, you should be able to silence your mind completely. And when I talk about mind control, it isn't about necessarily silencing your mind. Yes, ultimately, that is the end goal. But to assume that that would be the first thing that you hit on your first time around is, I think, a little bit far-fetched. What's more important is understanding that and being open to that and being curious about that and going into a mindfulness practice, a yoga practice, with no intentions, with the potential assumption that it might be years before you're able to really create that deep sense of calm and be able to spark that quiet mind in an instant. Is that possible? Absolutely, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of commitment. This isn't something that if you practice it, once a week or every so often, that you're going to get really good at. It's about practicing it on a very daily basis, completely rebuilding your habit structure to bring in this sense of quiet, this sense of mindfulness or yoga or whatever it is that you want to call it. So ideally, you start off just by having these quiet moments, maybe more supported environments like in a yoga class or in a quiet room in your house or anything else where you just give yourself the opportunity for 5 minutes to sit still, to breathe, to close your eyes, to just tune in to what's going on right here, right now, to kind of hit the pause button on life, hit the pause button on your day, and just commit a few moments, a few minutes to being completely still, completely quiet. And what happens is, as you are starting to practice this, the first few times, the first very many times, those couple of minutes might really be your mind going around and around and around about what you just left behind, about what you're about to embark upon, about your to-do list, about the argument you had with someone 2 days ago, or anything else. So the goal in that is to just observe that mind. Get comfortable, be okay with the fact that you went in with one intention of being still and being quiet and being peaceful, and you're actually getting something completely different, which is your mind is going around in circles. Don't let that discourage you. That should be even more encouragement for you to do this on a very regular basis because you're obviously struggling with that mind. I have moments where I still do that, and I've been doing this for years. So it's never something you want to beat yourself up over. Eventually, the more that happens, the more where you sit down in quiet time and your mind kind of works over and over and over again, at some point, the more you can, your practice, I guess your goal for that, if your mind is going in circles, isn't to practice silence, but to practice observance. So observe that mind that is going in circles, going in circles, going in circles, and seeing how much of a good job you can do at not reacting to that mind, not reacting to the thoughts that are coming up. See if you can practice this ability to kind of separate your minds so that you have one mind that is going around in circles about the to-do list, about everything else that's going on in your day, but then you have this other mind that's just watching it, that's saying, wow, okay, I'm aware of that this is happening. And you're just watching these thoughts go around and around and around and around and around in circles, and recognizing that you're just not going to feed into it. You're not going to let it expand too much more than it is. It's like having an angry child. And if you feed it, the child's only going to create a bigger fit because it knows it's getting what it wants, as opposed to just ignoring it and avoiding the subject altogether and letting that angry child kind of calm down. That's really one of the biggest pieces of the mindfulness practice, of the meditation, of the yogic practice, whatever you want to call it. The second layer of that, eventually, or on good days, because at some point I'll probably go back and forth, good days and bad days, it'll get to the point where you can kind of spend, 30 seconds being completely still, being completely focused on your breath. And then it might turn into a whole minute, and then it might turn into half the time, and then it might eventually turn into the whole time. But also, the bigger thing behind this mindfulness, this mind control aspect, is it's also a little bit unreasonable to just say, oh, I want a quiet mind, here you go, poof, mind is quiet. It doesn't work like that. One of the better things to be starting with is to not have a completely empty, still mind, because that's not necessarily the intention behind the meditative practice anyway. But to be able to control the mind. So instead of having this mind that goes on and on and on all of these different tangents, it's about being able to snap that mind back into presence at the drop of a dime. So using these 5-minute practices is a way for you to eventually use this anywhere. And like I was saying before I got a little bit off track, the best thing that you can do is to focus on something. So instead of focusing on nothing, which can be very daunting to someone, especially someone dealing with stress, focus on something. That's where the breath comes in. That's where the connection between the body and the mind and the breath is within the yogic practice. So you use your breath. You focus on your breath. Long exhales, easy inhales. Just breathing as comfortably as you can. If you want to expand upon that a little bit, you can focus on your breath and you can focus on your body's reaction to the breath. You can place your hands on your chest, you can place your hands on your belly, or really anywhere in the torso, and you can kind of connect with that breath moving around. Your mindfulness practice is to serve you. So don't try to sit still with a completely empty mind if that's not working. That's not serving you. What does serve you? Maybe it is just focusing on the breath. Maybe it's moving your hands around to kind of feel your breath. Maybe it's focusing on one spot within the room and looking at that one spot with your eyes open, because eyes closed doesn't feel comfortable. So get beyond all the details of the logistics of what you should be doing and what the great people do, whatever it is, and just do what feels really good to you. So why do we build this practice into our day? And can I emphasize the fact that it should be every single day? This is not an easy practice to build into your life. This is not an easy change, especially if you live a very kind of stressful, strenuous life. This is something then that you need to do every single day. That's the only way you're going to see benefits from it. I'm telling you this from experience. If you did this 2 days a week, it's going to take you years before you get it. Try doing it every single day. 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking for, is 5 minutes. And what will be the result of that? What will eventually be the result of that is instant calm. That is our goal. Instant peace, instant calm. So the more you have this ability to, one, separate your mind so that you can see with one mind, the crazy mind that won't stop running around and around and around in circles. Once you create that ability to have these two separate minds, then that one mind can kind of jolt the other mind into saying, whoa, you are out of control, you need to calm down. So this could be anywhere. This could be while you're driving, in the grocery store, in an argument with another person, or at your desk during the workday, where you suddenly have this moment where you're realizing how out of control your mind has gotten. Step 2, the more you practice this, the more you have this ability to close your eyes. It's almost like creating muscle memory. You're creating mental memory. You have this ability, as soon as you start to sit down in that one place where you have that mindfulness practice every single day for 5 minutes, the more you do it, you'll see that as soon as you sit down, as soon as you get into your chosen position that you usually do this practice in, you close your eyes or you find your point to look at, and instantly it's like your body, your mind knows. It's like a dog. It's trained. It knows this is quiet time. This is time to breathe. This is time to be still. This is time to relax. This is time to unwind. So the better practice you build with that, then that means that when you recognize that you've got these two different minds going, the one mind's going crazy and the other mind's saying, whoa, we need to hit the pause button, then that's an easy opportunity for you to stop, close your eyes, or find a focal point, take a couple of deep breaths. 30 seconds. 30 seconds is all it takes, because you've trained your mind, you've trained your body to say, oh, you're gearing up for mindfulness time or meditative time or yoga time or whatever it is. And now it's time for me to shut up. Shut up being the mind. So the more you can work on a daily practice, and I truly recommend every single day, 5 minutes, try to go to the same place, sit or lay down or do something, create a ritual of it, create a habit of it. So you're literally repeating the same thing day in, day out, and even ideally at the same time of day as well. Take 5 minutes for quiet, and you'll see, even maybe after a couple of months, that you get so connected with that practice that it starts to bleed into the rest of your day. And then it gives you this wonderful ability, to recognize when you've created a whole giant ball of stress and you've gone a little bit too far and you need to step back. 2, it gives you the tools to step back and literally in an instant be able to come back to that place of peace, that place of calm, that place of quiet. Doesn't matter where it is, doesn't matter when it is. You could be driving and all you do is come to a stop sign, come to a stoplight, and you just pause for a second, you take a couple of deep breaths, you recognize that you have a mind, you recognize that you have a body, you recognize that you are in this car right now, and you recognize that that mind is focusing on a million things that it cannot control. And in that moment, that second mind steps up to the plate and it says, it's okay. We are not here right now. I hear you. I hear all of your concerns, all of your worries, all of your plans, but we are right here, right now, and I'm taking a deep breath and I'm asking you to be still. And that mind will follow. And the more you do that, the more you have that ability to instantly create peace, instantly create calm, then the more you can create that sense of internal peace. Because eventually you're going to recognize more and more and more the things that are setting you off, the things that are making that mind go crazy, and the things that aren't. And you're going to naturally gravitate towards that. And I don't even want to talk about that too much because I don't want you to focus on that end result. Because that end result, like I said, it could be in months, it could be in years. Hopefully it comes. What's important now is to stop, is to find those times where you can sit, where you can breathe, where you can be present, and building it in on an absolute daily basis. And just working from there. Focus on the plan. Focus on this week. This week, today, I will commit 5 minutes to myself, to my quiet mind, to my inner peace, to the peace that I need to have a better day. So on that note, we can go through that real quick. So finding a comfortable position, whether it's seated or lying on the floor, relaxing those shoulders, maybe squeezing them up and then rolling them down, relaxing the hands, closing the eyes, and relaxing the mouth. So the jaw should be soft, the tongue is nowhere near the roof of the mouth, the eyes are heavy. Checking in from head to toe, making sure everything is relaxed. If you want, you can clench every inch of your body and then release it. Another thing is to kind of wiggle your toes, wiggle your hands, your fingers, your shoulders, your legs, and then relax them. But really take a moment to relax, completely relax. And with your eyes closed and with your body calm, just follow your breath in and out. Notice the initial rhythm of your breath. Is it short and choppy? Notice how as soon as you start to pay attention to it, it starts to slow down. Maybe getting a little bit longer, getting a little bit more relaxed so that you can breathe with ease. And in your mind, telling yourself that you are giving yourself permission for a few moments of quiet, a few moments of peace, giving yourself permission to put everything aside for just 5 minutes. Allowing the air to move freely in and out, ideally through the nose, but if the nose doesn't work, through the mouth is fine. And if the mind starts to run around in circles, you return to that breath. You pay attention to the inhalations and to the exhalations. And if you want, you can place your hands on your chest or on your belly or on your waist. And you can feel the air moving in and out. If your mind does start to get quiet, feel free to stop paying attention to the breath. Allow yourself to go where you are drawn to. So if the mind is running, use the breath as a tool. But don't stay overly focused on the breath. So if you feel yourself starting to grow quieter and softer and more peaceful, allow that to happen too. So our intention isn't breath, our intention is mind control, and we are using the breath. If that mind is running, you can also just notice how heavy the feet are, how heavy the legs are, how heavy the shoulders are, how heavy the eyelids are. But watching the air go in and out, in and out, knowing that in this moment, all that matters is that air moving in and out. And honoring this moment because that air gives you life, and your life is good. Taking 2 more deep breaths. Noticing how the quality of your body changes when you go from breathing comfortably, gently, naturally, to breathing deeply. You get a little bit more energy, welcoming you back. And once you are ready, gently opening the eyes. So it's that simple. If you want more than 5 minutes, take more than 5 minutes, but try to at least do 5 minutes every single day. Find the time that works for you. You know, some people like doing it in the morning. For me, I know I prefer doing it in the evening as a way to refocus after a long day of doing things. So find what works for you, the place that works for you, the time that works for you, the style that works for you. There's a million ways to do it. But the important thing is to do it so that you can create instant calm. You need this practice so that you can weave these skills into every minute of your life so that when you do get out of whack, you can have this tool that can give you instant peace, instant calm, instant rebalancing. So thank you for joining, and I'll see you soon.